It's a Mailman Sunday here on the FGC on NBC. First class delivery even on Sunday. Anyway, remember if you like these kind of videos, like, sub, silly comment, whatever. I just have too many comments to get to half the time, and I'm just too tired from doctor stuff. If you've seen my stories, man, my doctors recently, they've given me oxygen, and oh my god, I'm just fucked up all the time. So I too many comments to get to. So let's just do some of these, like, I'll answer questions like this. If you like these kind of videos, like, sub, silly comment, whatever. And if you have other questions, maybe I'll answer your question another time in one of these videos. Anyway, ISR Gaming sent me a long thing, so I'm not going to read it all. But he sent me a long thing talking about that Majin Vegeta final explosion thing. So to answer his question is, well, first of all, no, I don't think that the C assist is long enough to go for what I said. So I don't think it would make the final explosion guaranteed because, like I said, it has a long startup time that a C assist I don't think would affect it per se. At least not in a terrible way. But he also put in the caveat of he thinks that it could hit the assist then. Which, if I do agree, if you have that kind of caveat in there, that just in case to make it not guaranteed from an assist, say that it could hit the assist too. I think that's a fun idea. I would roll with that. So that's fine. I think that'd be a fun idea. Hey Jude asks, what do you think about adding a fusion mechanic similar to Budokai games? Both characters have to be on the same team. You fuse, so you lose a character, but it gives you a new moveset and buffs you to compensate. Nothing too crazy, though. Well, the too long didn't read is I think there's more negatives than positive to that. The longer answer, a little more long-winded answer would be, again, I think it's more of a nerdy thing than a good thing. I don't think there's really a precedent for these kind of things working very well either. If we were to relate it to something like, say, for sake of argument, look at a game like Capcom vs. SNK. 2 and 1. How many times do you see just a ratio 4 character? Like, I'm trying to compare it to something to set a precedent, right? You know, normally in a game like Capcom vs. SNK 2, you don't see characters a level 4 character. You know, for acting like we're giving up the idea of having another character, right? Capcom vs. SNK 1. Very rare to even see a level 3 character with level 1. A lot of times you just see 4 level 1s, right? Because, you know, your last thing you said is nothing too crazy, though. The fact is you gotta make it crazy or else it really just doesn't make it worth it. Look at the precedents, even if we were to compare it to a sort of precedent of having less team members on your team. It just doesn't outweigh the advantages of having more characters, especially if you're thinking about a tag team game. So, okay, say if you have Goku and Vegeta on a team, they can turn into Gogeta or Vegito. Well, fuck. Even if you make them very powerful, guess what? You still technically now you lost the ability to assist, right? So I just think, you know, you say nothing too crazy. The fact is, it would have to be very, very fucking crazy if you're thinking about the game competitively to matter. And there's just not precedence for it actually really working that well. Even like theorizing it, you know, even if we try to compare it to something else, I think it's more of a nerd thing. You know, if we had to go, even if you go a step down and you're saying, okay, well, maybe they can't transform into a character, but what if maybe you do something like, oh, well, what if we have a cheap pop, like if Goku and Piccolo are on the same team, maybe Piccolo has a special level 2 special beam cannon where Goku comes out and it acts as an unblockable throw and then you can special beam cannon them. Or what if, you know, just a cheap pop, maybe if Vegeta and Goku on our team, they have a special level 3 or level 5, whatever arbitrary number you put in there, they can do a special super if both characters are on the team where they just transform into Gogeta for a second or transform into Vegito for a second and they do a crazy super, right? You know what I mean? It does a huge amount of damage, or it has some kind of weird attribute where maybe it adds an extra Dragon Ball to the team, you know, whatever it might be, some kind of weird mechanic. It could be any kind of crazy thing. But the problem is, guess what? Now you're making certain characters too special. Because how many characters could you put in and how many characters in the game are going to have these special things? Okay, you have characters like Goku and Vegeta on a team. Okay, they'll get this special, unique thing, right? But what about all these? What about the fucking 30, 35 other characters in the game? What do they get? Not every character is going to feel special then. And you're like making certain characters feel more special than the other. Like, so they're just, you know what, as many cool things as you could think to do it, some new spins on it, no matter how nerdy you make it, there's more negatives than positive. And there's not really a precedent for it working super well if you're thinking about the game competitively speaking. So I think it's more of a nerdy thing. Lucas Trainer asked a couple things. What do you think if Piccolo could just burn meter to regenerate health like Cell? I think Piccolo and Cell already have enough shit. I think there's already enough foundation for those characters that you could keep them cool with doing other shit like I've made in videos before. And then he also asked about base Goku and another Kaioken install, and it drains HP, blah blah blah. You know what? This is more nerdy kind of shit. I think Dragon Ball people really like this kind of install kind of stuff, and too many installs. Like I said, how I would change the game, have the least amount of installs as possible. Like I said, if I was going to put in changing characters, I guess, you know, for say like a blue Goku, because it could go along with fucking, you know, Golden Frieza. So it kind of gives them kind of like a matchup, like the antithesis of them going against each other. But everybody wanting to install supers for every character, that's just like nerdy stuff that I feel. Goku already has enough stuff with the foundation of his moveset that you could flesh him out without adding endless install supers to everybody. Amir Elisiwe, I don't know how to say your name. I know you posted on my channel, but I don't know how to say your name. Hey Clayton Val, I value your videos a lot, and I have a general question if you don't mind. What is your advice to improve on fighting games? I've seen many people's inputs before, but I'd like to hear yours. I've made videos on it. It depends on what you're talking about. Like I said, general thing is, I think playing a lot of different games helps you look at then the game you want to play from a different perspective. That is kind of like the easy answer. You know what I mean? So play a lot of different games so you can then come at the game that you like the most from a new potential perspective if you ever have to. I think that's a good way to broaden your horizon in the first place, and then when you go back to the game you actually like, blah blah blah. Slim Shady, show me the girl. What the fuck? Oh man, dude, I don't know. She looks like she's out. She looks at her body. This girl, she looks like she had her ribs removed or something. It's ridiculous. I don't know. I guess she's using one of those fucking, what are those things that girls use to make their waist super skinny? It's ridiculous. She also moans in a really cute way too. Oh boy. She moans in a very cute way as well, actually. A very cute way when she moans. Anyway, D-Mex, I don't know. Oh boy, this is a Jimmy question. We got to end with a Jimmy. I agree with most of this, but what is this stuff about block damage? What would it actually add to the game? I hate the thought of being on my last character, getting locked on, and then just dying, even if I'm blocking. I really want chip damage in this game, but dying from chip, no way. You want chip damage in the game, but as long as you don't die. Isn't that what I said? I said that in the exact video. It's like, everyone just doesn't want block because they don't want to die of block damage. I'm sorry, dude. The Jimmy virus, it has gone straight up your butthole. I've made countless videos about this. You could put in something like, okay, a fireball can't kill you from block damage, but only supers can. Whatever it might be, but block damage is not a bad thing. Look at a game like Street Fighter 2. Guess what? You know why you could still die in Street Fighter 2? Street Fighter 2 that has no instant air dash mix-up. It's not an anime game, blah, blah, blah. Because guess what? You could be thrown, or if you keep blocking a fireball, special move, whatever, you die. There was not crazy high-low insane mix-ups in Street Fighter 2, but guess what? You couldn't block because blocking, if you want to go from that perspective, if you use it loosely, is a mix-up because you can't keep blocking or else you're going to die. You have to avoid blocking all the time. And Dragon Ball FighterZ is a game that gives you an excuse, because I'm not saying that I agree with this necessarily, but rolling with the idea and the tools that we are given. This is a game that not every character even has a mashing on duck little kick, whatever, as a low. This is a game where not every character has a duck low. So you know what? You have an even more excuse in this game for people to die of block damage. Look at Vegito. That's exactly why I gave those examples. You know what, Vegito, even if you were to tighten up everything he did, technically, because his mix-up is so slow from a certain perspective, it's not really a great mix-up. But if there was actually block damage and there was actually a fear, you'd have to actually, well, fuck, I actually have to use the mechanics of the game to get out of this. I mean, this is such simple shit. I mean, to be honest, your question sounds so fucking retarded. I honestly don't know if people are even asking this question seriously. I think you guys are just being stupid. I don't know, but you know, block damage is not a bad thing for games, and it actually would show off a game like Dragon Ball FighterZ because you have mechanics already in place to allow you to not die from block damage in the first place. It then shows off the tug of war between Fireballs, Homidashing, and Reflecting. It shows off the idea that now we're able to have characters that don't have fast lows. Because we have so many Fireballs here, they still, just like Street Fighter 2, you can't block all the time or you're going to die. You have to move. You have to do something. It's exciting. It's exciting to see people like, oh, is he going to die? What's he going to do to get out of this, dude? It's not exciting to be like, oh, he's just going to block. How exciting does that get? That is not that exciting. So that doesn't work. So the whole idea about block damage, you know, people complaining about it is ridiculous. It's a very Jimmy thing to view. Anyway, remember, if you guys have any other questions or if you like the videos, like, sub, silly, comment, blah, blah, blah. Maybe I'll do some more of these videos another day, that kind of thing. The end.